Stick a move. Stick a move in the ring. You can hit me with the words you fling.
I mean, like the new intros there. All right, it's the post-fight podcast. We're going to be previewing UFC 256 and ONE Championship Big Bang 2. I'm Nick Atkin. As usual, I'm joined by Mr. Chris Edwards-Bailey. I'm bringing him up on screen here. What's up, Chris?
Hey, guys. I'm all good. How are you, Nick?
Oh, man, we both got the shirt on today. I like that.
Represent post-fight.
Yeah. We need to find a way to start selling this stuff. Make some coin,
sure.
some cheddar.
Sure.
Let me have a word. I was thinking of a day I want to get their hats made.
Oh, yeah.
John and I always, how are we going to do that? You got a guy, right, in China?
Yeah, but it's quite hard to get over to China at the moment. So you'd have to get them designed and sent over without really checking them.
All right. Well, you keep me posted on that, Chris. I really want a hat. Yeah. John and I were talking about it. We're thinking like a blue, not a yellow.
Yeah, I think blue's a bit better. Yellow's a bit flash.
Yellow's a bit flash. Plus, we got the yellow T-shirt. You don't want to match too much.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, yeah, so we're here to preview. We're going to start with UFC 256 because why not? It's a slightly bigger card, I think, than ONE's Big Bang 2. So it would only be right of us to start there. I'll try and bring it up on screen, but yeah, there have been a few changes, haven't there, Chris, from this original lineup? I think we had 3 title fights originally that all fell through, and now we have got a flyweight title fight. Davison Figuerado will be turning around in 21 days. Incredible, isn't it, to fight Brandon Moreno?
Oh, yeah. The last pay-per-view of the year. And it is actually a really, really good pay-per-view. Really good all the way, going quite deep into the prelims and even the early prelims. Just some absolute gems out there, some up-and-coming stars to watch. It's a nice way to end the year. We were going to preview it yesterday. We've done it today because at this point, there's so much that can happen to this card because right now it seems there's people dropping left and right with COVID at the moment. So, touch wood, guys. If you watch this, it might be subject to change because we just don't know who could be fighting. But it is a pretty good card and it's pretty stacked.
Yeah, shout out to Tapology as usual. We're just using their cards here. Great guys. Obviously, the number one out there. We love what you do. Yeah. Let's start with that main event then. Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno. Davison made it look easy again, didn't he, against Alex Perez? Yeah, just like he did when he won the title against Joey Benavidez. This guy is now, I think, 1 finish away from matching DJ's flyweight record in the UFC. What do you think, Chris? If he wins this, are we going to start talking about Davison Figueiredo in the same GOAT context that we talk about Mighty Mouse?
I do not think so yet. For all the respect I've had so far, he beat Joseph Benavidez probably in a less spectacular fashion than Demetrius Johnson. I would probably say if Davison Figueiredo was to win this weekend, as I do think he will, I do think it probably puts him more towards a Cejudo kind of level within the flyweight division, puts him more closely there, because DJ has that really, really long stretch, and I think to even start comparing, we'd have to talk about 3 or 4 more title defenses before he even really gets close. But yeah, look at his record. It speaks for itself. He's a fantastic athlete. 21 days later as well, after his last pay-per-view with a finish. He didn't take any damage, so there's not really any issue there moving forwards. The story that I do like is the story of Brandon Moreno. He gave a great interview the other day. I can't remember who it was with, but he was talking about how he wants to be the Mexican star. They tried it with Yair. They tried it with Cain Velasquez. And he really wants to push people forward. And he wants those young Mexican boys and girls to not think they want to be Canelo in the future or Oscar De La Hoya. They want to be Brandon Moreno. They want to be an MMA fighter. And he wants to be that guy who can make it big in the country. But he really is up against it. He is the taller guy. If you can use that size to advantage, good luck to him. It's going to be really, really, really hard. Figueiredo's just so well-rounded.
Right. Can I ask you, put you on the spot, Chris, for an official prediction? Are you going for Figueiredo?
My official prediction would be Figueredo. I think he's more versatile. I think he's got better wrestling. I think he's got more submissions. Um, I think Brandon Moreno is a fantastic fighter. I think he's a much harder fighter than Alex Perez. He hasn't really come up with someone of this level. He has a bit of a history of being finished or getting knocked out. And Figueredo hits so hard for his weight class. I'm going to go with Figgy, and I'm going to say third or fourth round strikes that will probably lead to a submission, I would say, but that's the most likely outcome in my opinion.
All right. Look who's here in the chat. JHK. I just got off doing JHK's show, the post-fight live chat. We had Dan Tom on from Junkie. It was a great chat.
Fantastic chat,
He's
guys.
asking, where's my shirt? Where's my hat? Yeah, I got to send John a shirt. I have so many of these in my apartment here. I need to get rid of them. Anyone wants one, just tell me. You can have one. I need to get rid of them. There's about 50 clogging up the cupboard here. So we haven't got hats yet, though. Yeah, John, Chris, and we're working on the hats. ONE Championship UK is also in the house. Whoa, a wild Chris has appeared. Welcome back. Yeah. Where have you been, Chris? We haven't seen you here for a while.
Yeah, I had my birthday, and then I've just had some busy times with work and whatnot, and spending a bit of time with the girlfriend. You know how it is. So, yeah, but great to be back. Hopefully on the Fight Companion this Friday. Nothing better way to spend my Friday nights, and yeah, back to get the ball rolling again.
Looks like Tristan wants a shirt. Okay. How am I going to get these shirts? I don't want you to put your address up on the internet. We'll figure a way out.
Yeah.
Get in touch with
me at SCMP.
Yeah, just find me on Twitter, Tristan. I'm at Nico SCMP, or on Instagram, same handle. And DM me there, and we can figure it all out. Happy to, you guys, we love that you watch the show and you interact. You're all like really good fans, so happy to give you a shirt, anyone who wants one. Anyway, yeah, Chris, been a while since we've seen you. Chris is now a busy man. He's back in the world of work, so Thursday's the only days he can do with this show. So thank you very much, Chris. Have you figured out what's going on with the Fight Companion? Asks ONE Championship UK. No, I still need to have that call with Tammy Chan from ONE Championship PR about that. Fingers crossed we can figure that out. Adam H was also asking about that. Yeah, we're hoping we can still broadcast the fights tomorrow night. I just got to figure this out. Come on, Tammy. Come on, ONE Championship. Do the right thing. The fans want to see it.
It's nearly Christmas. It's the time to give.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's get back on that card. Sorry. Tony Ferguson against Charles Oliveira, isn't it? This is a banger of a co-main event, Chris. Well, here you start. This is insane.
A real banger of a fight. I think it's going to be super entertaining. I've got Tony Ferguson, my boy, all the way in this. I think he's the more unpredictable striker. I think he's got the better wrestling. I think he's got the better ground game. Charles Oliveira, he's been in the UFC, about 10 years now? He's been really going out hard, but I just think Tony Ferguson is just far too around the fighter. Oliveira himself is a little bit chinny from time to time. He got finished by Paul Felder, Ricardo Lamas, Showtime Pettis. Max Holloway, I do think might have beaten back in the day, Frankie Edgar. And, look at Ferguson. He's only got 4 losses on his record. Lost to Gaethje Pot, went on that 12-fight win streak. He is, in my opinion, a lot of people this week have been talking about Yoel Romero, the best fighter to not win a UFC strap. For me, it is Tony Ferguson, 100%. He is the best ever fighter to probably never win a UFC championship if you discard the interim championships like I do.
Not Yoel Romero, recently released from the UFC.
No, I think Tony Ferguson, just because of that run he went on, and that pretty much the only thing that ever stopped him for fighting for a title was just bad luck. He had 5 opportunities against Khabib, but none of them really come. Yeah, And I would love to see him win and get back up there because he is so entertaining. He is crazy in the best possible way. There is something just mesmerizing about watching him talk and how it goes from one thing to another. But yeah, just one of the greatest fights of all time, and hope everyone gets to enjoy this fight. I don't think it's gonna go to a finish. I think Tony Ferguson is probably gonna do something similar like he did in the Pettis fight. I think he's gonna just slowly push the pace, and then win. And I think as well, when you look at the surgeries come off, that 5-round war against Gaethje, it's nice to see him have a 3-round fight because sometimes they can be better for the longevity of your career.
It's a huge crossroads, though, isn't it, for Tony Ferguson? More so than Charles Oliveira, I think. If Tony loses this, it's really hard for him to find a way back in to that title picture, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. I mean, if this was ONE Championship, I mean, this would be called UFC 256. See you at the crossroads. Kind of, something like that would be the name because you just look at the main card. We have got Tony Ferguson, Jacare Souza, and JDS, who you can argue all three of them are at the crossroads as Bone Thugs and Harmony, later Blazing Squad would say.
Okay. I didn't expect that. All right. Well, yep. Let's get 7 for 7 in, see if she can continue her undefeated streak. Says I can't pronounce your username there. Sorry, sir. You must be talking about Jasmine. Yeah, Mr. Echo. Jasmine, yeah, if you're watching, Jasmine, if you're awake over in Georgia, feel free to jump in here and give us your predicts. We will get into the ONE Championship Big Bang 2 card after this UFC 256 card. Jasmine obviously went undefeated last week for her predictions on Big Bang. I don't think any of us have ever got a full clean sweep there. Sepulot, you're in the house. What up? When I finally think I'm going to sleep, at a good time, you guys come in with a live stream. Yeah, sorry, we're pulling double duty today, Sepulot. We had John's post-fight live chat earlier. Now it's the preview time because got to fit around Chris's schedule. Chris is a busy man these days. He can only do Thursdays. Okay. Well, let's get back onto that preview then. This is a great card, I think. I've got to give them their due, especially considering how many fights have fallen out. You had we originally had Gilbert Burns and Usman, right? We're gonna headline it, and there was there was Amanda Nunes was going to fight. Was she on this card? Yeah,
wasn't Shevchenko?
And John was explaining it the other day. But anyway, there were 3 title fights. It's all changed, but they've still put together a really good card. So hats off to UFC. I like the look of this fight as well. Renato Moicano.
This is my tip.
Rafael Fashiv.
This is my tip for Fight of the Night. I think it's going to get Fight of the Night bonus. I think it's going to be a fantastic back and forward. Renato Moicano, really, really good, of a good level. But I'm going to big up the product of Tiger Muay Thai, striking coach there, Fiziev, absolute beast. Big up George Hickman. Why not while we're here? And I just think he's going to outstrike him. You look at his movement, you look at everything he did in his last fight, his ability to move forward, step around, control the pace. He's got such technical Muay Thai striking ability. He's so fluid in his action. You can tell he's just been doing this for years. And then if you do look at Renato Moicano's record, he has been finished by Jose Aldo. He did get finished 2 or 3 fights ago by Korean Zombie. He has looked a bit chinny when he does get hit hard. And if there's someone who hits hard and can find that sweet spot on your chin, it is this man, Rafael Fiziev. I think it's going to be an absolute banger. I think it's going to go 3 rounds, but go to decision. But I think Fiziev is going to do it.
All right. I was about to ask John what was your opinion, but he's not on the show today. We only have one predictor. John hung up his predicting boots, I think, for SCMP after having a howler of a weekend a couple months back. Don't think he wants to put his neck on the line, but Chris, we respect that you always willing to put your neck on the line with these predictions. Bring the people what they want. He's not afraid of any blowback, are you, Chris?
Oh, no. And trust me, I get my fair amount of blowback.
This fight is also, extremely interesting because it happened in a roundabout way, didn't it? Kevin Holland against Jacare Souza. So let me try and recap it. I think Jack Hermansson was going to fight Darren Till. Till dropped out. Kevin Holland then was going to fight Jack Hermansson last weekend, but he got a positive COVID, or it turned out to be a false positive. So Marvin Vittori stepped in, and he was going to fight Jacare on this weekend's card. So they then just matched up Holland and Jacare. I think I've got that 100% correct, right, Chris?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, we've got here in a roundabout way, but this is still a really interesting fight. I think this is a really big fight for Kevin Holland, isn't it? This is a huge step up from, he's had 4 wins this year. He's on the second best middleweight streak, I think. This is huge for him.
Oh, this is absolutely huge. I mean, this is probably his biggest step up so far. He has had 5 wins. He's been in the UFC about 2.5 years, 3 years, had about 9 fights. So he's been very, very active. It is a big step up. He fought Sergey Santos in his UFC debut. He lost to Brendan Allen by rear naked choke, who are probably the 2 best opponents he's fought. Probably Gerald Meerschaert is probably around there as well, which he got a split decision, which I think he lost. To tell you the truth, this is more than the Tony Ferguson fight. This is just a test of time. I don't think Kevin Holland would stand a chance against the prime Jacare, but this is no longer a prime Jacare, I mean, he's pretty much just as good as Yoel Romero. He's always been top 5 of the division. He's fought for number 1 contenderships before. Every time he's got close to the title, he's just about lost. If he does take it to the ground, I would expect Jacare to get the finish. And this is the hardest fight of the night to call, because if Kevin Holland can fight smart, I think he can beat him. But then you look at when he has had those steps up against a Thiago Santos, a Brendan Allen, even the performance he put him against Jeremy Meerschaert, I don't think beats a Jacare. If I have to stick my neck out and say someone, I'm probably going to say that Jacare, at the age of 41, just about pulls it out the bag and just uses his experience and his know-how to really get through it. And I know he's coming off a loss to Jan Blachowicz when he went up and fought. And then before that, Gastelum, Whitaker. He had wins against Wyman and Brunson in between. I'm a big Jacare fan. I'm going to say Jacare. He just edges it, but it's a 50-50, guys.
And Jacare, this is the first time he's fighting after having COVID. He had the slightly dubious honor, didn't he, of being the first UFC fighter to test positive for the coronavirus, I think, after they restarted everything.
Yeah.
I remember
in Jacksonville.
Yeah, it was funny because when he tested positive, he was like, "Oh my God, someone has tested positive." Now we're having like 10 fighters every week testing positive and 5 fights falling through. It's weird how far we've come, haven't we?
Yeah, he was supposed to fight Uriah Hall, I think, back in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So, but from everything I heard, he didn't really have any effects from it. He wasn't in too bad a shape. So I don't think that's really going to affect him much. But it is a nice way to end the year, I guess, with Jacare fighting after him being the first fighter to get it. And I do hope he can pull off the win.
Yes, sir. Let's see. I'm looking forward to that one. Eddie de Blasian commenting. Holland cannot coast with Souza. He's going to have to finish when he sees the opening. Yeah, Chris, do you see that? Kevin Holland likes to talk a little trash, doesn't he? In the cage, he likes to have fun in there. It's entertaining, but I don't think you can do that with a guy like Jacare.
No, I think actually what Eddie de Blasian's saying is really smart, is that it could be a bit of a Gustafsson-Verdum situation, where Gustafsson was initially beating Verdum, but then he got a bit confident, got taken down, and Verdum took him out in his element. And Kevin Holland can be a little bit like that. He does like to coast. He does have a very liquid and free style. He is maybe similar to the Diaz in that he likes to constantly talk trash. And I think against someone like Jacare, when you see an opening, if you don't put the foot down on that accelerator, you can end up in a world of trouble because Jacare is too smart to give him second and third chances.
I agree with you there. We'll see what happens. Anyway, we'll move on down this card. Another great fight, I'm thinking here. Junior dos Santos against Cyril Gunn. We haven't seen Cyril Gunn for about a year, literally. I think last time out was in Busan. He beat Tanner Bosa. Now we've got, JDS. This is a huge fight for him as well, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Look, Sergey is pretty good. He got the win against Tanner Bosa. He hasn't really fought anyone of absolutely any notes apart from that. I mean, he is 6-0. JDS is a former UFC heavyweight world champion, a former baddest man on the planet. And, if Sergey can catch him, but I'll tell you what, this is a huge step up from his level. And it's, as we said earlier, we're at the crossroads, aren't we? It could be the name of this event.
Sing it again for us, Chris.
See you at the crossroads. And it's, JDS still is 36, 37 soon. He's not super old for a heavyweight. He's got fast hands. He is coming off a few losses. But he can't count him out. I think Sergey might just show a little bit of youth, a little bit of speed, and a little bit of power. And I think we might start the whole main card off with a knockout of JDS, as little as I want to say it. But can I say one thing about these betting odds? I don't know where Topology are getting them, but putting JDS as a plus 35, a moderate underdog, that is so disrespectful. I mean, it should be about evens, even JDS being a slight favorite. You know what? I don't even like them odds. I'm going to go with JDS. I'm going to change my pick just because the odds have got me that angry.
Yeah, where we go. Cyril Gunn, heavy favorite there, minus 435. What do you think of the odds, people? Leave a comment. Do you think that's too much?
I can't see why anyone in their right mind would bet on Cyril Gunn at all in that situation. It seems absolutely ridiculous.
Is JDS coming off a loss, isn't he, against 3 losses? There you go. But he was beaten by Biggie Boy, right? Last time out. Yeah. I think that's it. The UFC sees Cyril Gunn as their next big heavyweight prospect, I think, and this is probably going to be Junior's last fight, I think.
But JDS, you have to remember, those 3 fights were against Blades, Rosenstrike, and Ngannou, who hit like an absolute truck. And I mean, Cyril Gunn beat Tanner Bosa. I mean, there are absolute levels to this game. Absolutely. I mean, come on. Curtis Blades, Ngannou, and Rosenstrike were arguably probably number 1 contender, number 2 contender, and number 5. So,
well, if that's the level, I guess JDS is no longer there. So,
yeah.
Do you see him, Chris, being cut? UFC has talked about making, or Dana White has talked about making 60 cuts. They've already begun chopping a few more names we've seen over the last few days. Do you think JDS could be one? If he loses this fight, if you're Dana White, he's probably got a big contract, hasn't he? Might be time to cut him loose.
I think it would depend how he lost. I think if he gets knocked Spark out, he might cut him loose because he loses a lot of value then, having 4 losses in a row. But if he can, if he loses by a close decision, he might just scrape by. There's not that many heavyweights anyway. He's still ranked within the top 10, so he may just keep him around.
We'll see what happens with JDS. Cyril Gunn, looking forward to that fight. Really nice main card there, I've got to say.
Yeah.
And the prelims don't look too shabby either, do they, Chris?
Yeah. On the main card there, Nick, which fight are you most looking forward to? Mine is Moicano and Fiziev, but what is it for you?
I can't lie, I'm intrigued to see how Tony Ferguson bounces back from that devastating loss to Justin Gaethje. Really intrigued to see if Ferguson can still play a role in the top of that division, the lightweight division, if he can maybe set up the 6th attempt at fighting Khabib. I still want to see that fight. I know it's changed, everything's changed, but I think if Khabib goes out and seems like he wants to fight GSP, if he beats GSP, if Ferguson maybe beats Oliveira here, I'm trying to do and the maths in my head. He's going to have to go beat the winner of Poirier or McGregor, isn't he? Really, if he wants another title shot. I'm still clinging on to the fantasy of seeing Khabib Tony, even though it's lost some of its luster. I think it would still be a nice spectacle, and I think Khabib wants to beat Tony Ferguson. If you're looking at who he needs to take out in that lightweight division to really cement his legacy before he retires, he's kind of done everyone already, hasn't he? You've maybe got Ferguson, and then maybe Michael Chandler if he gets a couple of big wins.
Yeah, as Ferguson fought Poirier, I think that's
No,
maybe
that
the
would
only
be
one.
a great fight. Yeah,
And he could fight Conor, which I think would be a very, very hard fight for him. But I think him versus Conor would do extremely well.
yeah. So this is why I'm saying this is the fight I'm looking forward to the most. I think it's huge. We're going to see if Tony Ferguson can still play a part at the top of this division, and if he does win, it just as you said, it opens up so many incredible fights. McGregor, Poirier, Dan Hooker is there, Michael Chandler, Khabib, if they can get to that. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But all of those fights, that's a really, really nice main card. I cannot lie, Chris. But the prelims, let's have a quick look at that.
Yeah,
The
and
featured bout looks like
with the main events, the
Yeah.
prelims. Once again, this is absolute just smells of crossroads again, doesn't it? Between the two of them. I mean, we've got Cub Swanson here, who won his last fight and won it well against Chrome Gracie. He just kind of found him out as having very minimal striking, a la Ben Askren, a la Damian Maia, as some of the grapplers do have. And he just lighted them up. Before that, he had 4 losses going into that fight. And you know what? This might fire up Cub Swanson, like it might fire up JDS, like it might fire up Jacare to think, maybe not Jacare, but the other two in particular, to think they might be getting cut if they lose this fight. And I know Pineda, it's only his second fight in the UFC. He had the win back in summer against, I can't even remember. I'm going to have to look it up, guys. Sorry about this. Herbert Burns he beat, actually, who was a top fighter.
That was a shock.
Was that after had Burns hadn't had COVID at that point, had he? Not neither of them.
Sure.
No, I can't remember.
Someone fill us in on that in the comments.
Anyway, this makes it a really, really tight fight. But obviously, Cub Swanson's been in the UFC for so long that we all know who he is. But when you look, they have very, very similar records, similar amount of fights. And just, I'm going to go on form, really. I'm going to go with Daniel Pineda, I guess, would be my pick. But I think if it goes to a decision, I think Cub Swanson's probably smart enough to win a decision as long as he can avoid getting hit too much and use his superior fight IQ and his experience to really, really control the pace and dictate where the fight takes place.
All right. Let's have another look at those cards. Those prelim fights on the card. Tristan was asking us in the comments for a prediction on Billy Q v Gavin Tucker. Why don't we have a quick look at that then, Chris? Bring it up here. Bear with me.
Gavin
All right,
Tucker.
Billy Quarantillo v Gavin Tucker. This is another good fight. This is a really good card, I think, isn't it, Chris? What do you think?
Yeah, it's really, really hard to say because Gavin Tucker had that 2-year period out a few years ago and has just fought twice in the last 2 years. So it is really, really hard to say where he is. If I had to go one way or another, Billy Q is probably the one that just does it for me. He's been active. He fought twice, I think, over the summer in Jacksonville. And then he fought in September again, maybe over at the Apex. He's been just a touch more active. He's a little bit more powerful. And I think if he can just catch him, I think he's going to knock him out. And that would be my choice. But they're both really, really good fighters. probably the fight of the night on the prelims. One of them could be in for a bonus in this fight, and I think it's going to be nothing but excitement.
Anyone called the governor, I'm gonna
Wow.
get behind my support, especially if they're Canadian, because that seems so strange. I thought the governor was like a British slang term, a Cockney thing. So that's that. I can't argue with you. It's a tough one to call, but I don't have to make the predictions. I'm just the host, so I don't have to put my neck on the line. I will not. I'll leave that to Chris. Okay, we can have a quick look. Any other of these prelim fights that stand out to you, Chris? Mackenzie Dern. Yeah,
has a pretty interesting fight. Be interesting to see if she tests Mackenzie Dern stand up. Would be quite interesting. She's a BJJ black belt, probably the best BJJ practitioner we've seen Mackenzie Dern fight within the UFC. Mackenzie Dern by submission, if anyone's a betted man, is generally a pretty good bet. I mean, Werner only has one loss, and that was against Carla Esparza about 3 or 4 years ago. It's a really, really tight fight. It could go either way. I just think Mackenzie Dern will probably edge her way, get it to the ground. Because the thing is, even though Werner's a black belt, even within black belts, there's a level to this game. With Mackenzie Dern being the daughter of Megaton, etc., I feel like she's just going to have a little bit too more on the ground to do it. But if Werner can really push her stand up, get her to stand and bang, then she'll have a really, really good opportunity to put Mackenzie Dern in deep water and see what she does. But then, even if you throw into deep water, I still see her getting the takedown. So on this one, guys, I'm going to go Mackenzie Dern and probably by submission, second or third round.
Yeah, the betting odds agree with you. She's a slight favorite, minus 185. Yeah, you disagree with those odds? You were very unhappy with the Cyril Gunn odds, weren't you?
Yeah, I think it's just a lack of disrespect to JDS.
All right. Well, that's a little bit more straightforward, those odds. Any other fights then, Chris? Have a quick look at these.
There's
prelims.
one more I'd like to really, really point out. That would be Chase Hooper versus Peter Barrett.
Yes, here we go. Chase Hooper.
Chase Hooper,
everyone's
Ben Askren's son. Pretty funny guy. Pretty funny. You know, he's 21 years old, super young. When you look at Peter Barrett, I think he's 34. He's a little bit of a journeyman, which does make me think that the UFC have kind of got this guy to come in and maybe, I know he's got a win in the UFC or a win in the Contender Series, but I think they've kind of brought him in to give Chase a little bit of a comeback because he kind of did get his ass handed to him by Alex Caceres back in one of the Jacksonville cards, I believe, in May. It was the same night as the Chito Vera and Sean O'Malley fight, I believe.
Yeah, well, Peter Barrett spoke to SCMP MMA's John Hyun-ko. So go check out that interview on our channel here. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe, please, as always. And yeah, Peter Barrett told John he's looking to knock out Chase Hooper. So what do you say to that, Chris?
Yeah, I think he will be out headhunting. I think after seeing that he has a strong chin. In that last fight, Alex Caceres was landing shots all day, all night, non-stop. And he was taking them. He has a really, really strong chin. He needs to get his head out the way a little bit more, work on his movement. But he should have worked on that after that loss. But yeah, I think he's a little bit more classy. He's got great wrestling, great ground game. And I think Peter Barrett, is probably not of the same ilk of an Alex Caceres. He hasn't really done much in the UFC anyway, coming off a loss. I fancy Chase Hooper to win, probably by submission.
So do the bookies. He's heavy favorite, minus 400 there. Guess you can't argue with that, can you, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Given what he had done before, he looked very good on the Contender Series, didn't he? And his UFC debut. Let's see if Chase Hooper can get back in the winner's circle. Otherwise, a couple other fights on this card. Tisha Torres against Sam Hughes, and we've got Sergey Spivak against Jared Vandera. Hope I pronounced that one right. Yeah, if you haven't got anything to say about either of those, we can move on, I guess.
Yeah, Sergey Spivak is pretty good. He's gone 2-2. He beat tied to Davison, Carlos Felipe, who are really, really fairly solid guys within the division. Then he lost to Walt Harris and Martian Tybura, who are again really, really solid guys in the division. I think they're all ranked probably top 20, probably somewhere between 15 to 10 where they do. With this one with Spivak, I'd probably go with Spivak. And I think if you can get good odds on it, if you're a betting man, I think that's what you'd bet on.
What is he? He's moderate favorite minus 230.
Yeah. But once again, it's good to see. He's up there banging with the Martian Tyburas, Walt Harris's, the younger guys in the division. 25 years old, 28 years old. More young guys for the heavyweight division, which is exactly what the heavyweight division needs in the UFC right now.
All right, and get a quick pick for you, I guess. Tisha Torres and Sam Hughes.
I'm going to go with Tisha Torres. She has a little bit more experience at this level. She's done it at higher levels. If I think Sam Hughes, I think she's only ever fought in LFA, which is pretty solid. Good feeder league for the UFC. But I'd probably just go for Tisha Torres because I do think being or having all that experience in the UFC is probably going to add as an advantage.
Yep. Can't see any odds here. I don't. Have I got that right? There seems to be no odds yet for this fight. So the bookies haven't made up their minds, or Tapology hasn't got it in there. Not to this Tapology. We love what you do. Anyway, why don't we move on? We've got another card to preview then. We're going to talk about ONE Championship, Big Bang 2. Big Bang 1.
I know a lot of people are saying not good things about this card. They're not excited for this card. I'll tell you what. I think it's the best card that ONE have done since Inside the Matrix. I think it's an absolute banger of a card. It is called Big Bang 2. We're getting towards New Year. Finish the year off with a big bang before there's a collision course. I think this card is actually really, really exciting. We've got a few ranked guys fighting in 3 of the fights. We've got a great kickboxing bout. Heavyweight kickboxing bout further down the card. Then we've got some old favorites and a new debut, which will hopefully add some blood into the featherweight division. Touch wood. Yeah,
this is a really fun card. I was talking briefly with John about it the other day on our podcast we did. But I said we would go a bit more in depth with you, Chris, on Thursday. So here we are. Let's kick off with that main event, Naita against Jonathan Hagerty. Apologies for any of my pronunciation here not being correct. Some guy was having a go at us in the comments on the show the other day, telling us to learn how to pronounce Slavic names, and he called us dorks. So sorry, I'm not the expert on pronunciation of everyone. But anyway, taking Naito against Jonathan Hagerty. The General is back. He's lost 2 times to Rodtang now. He's got to rebuild himself a little bit, hasn't he, Chris, if he wants to get that trilogy?
Oh, yeah, and this is such an exciting fight. I mean, Jonathan Hagerty is one of the best ever Muay Thai kickboxers to ever do it from the UK. And the thing is as well, no one has to sleep on Naito, because if you realize how good this guy is, I mean, Rise champion, K1 champion, fought in Rising, fought the great Tenshin Nasukawa, twice, once in Rise, once in Rising. He is super young. He's one of those great current crop of young 125ers, 135ers coming out of Japanese kickboxing at the moment with all the skills. It is a really tight call. I don't know if Naito's actually fought someone because most of his fights have been kickboxing. I don't know if he's actually ever fought someone at this higher level at Muay Thai. And I think that while Naito would make absolute waves, and he is coming off 3 wins in ONE Championship, he will make absolute waves in the kickboxing. I think going against Hagerty and Muay Thai is a little bit of an issue. And I think dealing with those knees, dealing with those elbows, dealing with those cuts, dealing with Hagerty's ability to spin and get you with elbows and knees and do damage to you, I think it might just be a touch too far. I think it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to go the whole way, but I think we might just see Hagerty clinch the decision. But I think it's going to be back and forward, and I won't be surprised if we see this be an absolute banger of a fight, and it will be a fantastic main event and one of the best Muay Thai main events of recent memory.
It's funny, isn't it? As soon as you get into Muay Thai on Tapology, all the stats just disappear. No one really knows what the hell is going on. Don't even have the records, but I'm not blaming them again. Muay Thai, is a little bit different, of course. I think maybe we'll try and get Mr. James Goyder in to do the show with us on Friday, because he is Mr. Muay Thai. We had him back in July when ONE Championship first came back with their I can't remember the name of the shows. Was it No Surrender or something? He did an excellent job breaking down that Rod Tang fight. Let's try and see if we get Goyder back in. He obviously runs Asian MMA, knows his stuff, doesn't he, Chris?
Yep.
We move on, shall we? Nikki Holzken as well. This is a banger of a kickboxing fight. One really bringing the Super Series to the front. I think they made some great signings, haven't they, in the kickboxing? We saw that with Marat Grigorian and Yvonne Condry. I think this is the name I butchered last time, and the guy called me a dork for it. I won't say it again then. Nikki Holzken v. Elliot Compton. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, and I know, and this is my one issue with this. We've got Naito come on from a kickboxing background to fight a former champion in Muay Thai, and now we've got Elliot Compton, a former Muay Thai fighter, primarily known as that, coming out of what gym does he come out of? He comes out of John Wayne Parr's gym.
It's not on Tapology.
Again,
we have no stats.
Anyway, I think he's out Combat Muay Thai. He's a fantastic fighter, but I'll tell you what, Nikki Holzken, another level, former Glory welterweight champion. I know he lost those 2 fights to Cedric Doumbé before he came over. Came over to ONE Championship, beat Alexander Cosmo, beat Haider, had a close fight against Regan Arsel, and then he did lose, but it was a close fight. The second one was a little bit more one-sided, but I think this is a bit of I think they're putting Elliot Compton a little bit out of his comfort zone. I think they're giving Nikki Holzken a little bit of an easy fight to rebuild him back up so he can get a few more wins, because he is an absolute phenomenal fighter. And especially now with the Ridder and Regan and a few more Dutch fighters coming over, I think it's best to keep this guy, get him some wins under his belt so he can go for another classic, hopefully with Regan like the first one. Even the second one was super entertaining. I'm going to go just slightly with Nikki Holzken in this. You know what, actually, I'm going to say Nikki Holzken's going to finish by TKO in the third.
Nice.
3 down rule. But Elliot Compton always has the chance to knock him out. Trains with Wayne Parr and Rocky Ogden and all those guys. So, he is as good as they come.
It's another crossroads, isn't it, Chris? That's the theme today. I think Nikki Holzken needs a win, doesn't he, after those
Nikki
defeats
to Hagerty, they're both at a crossroads. I mean, look, this is going to be Nikki Holzken's 110th fight in kickboxing.
Yeah.
It's 125th fight over kickboxing and boxing. Does show what an absolute phenomenal athlete he is, especially at the age of 36 in that weight division.
That should be the theme. They should change the name, shouldn't they, Chris? You said it earlier. We'll call it ONE Championship Crossroads.
I
think this weekend.
Even though he only was the champion for one fight, he probably is the best European, apart from Regan Arsel, who's building his dynasty now. He's probably the best European kickboxer we've had to come over in a fight in ONE Championship so far, and hopefully we can get a few more of them coming over.
Sappy-a-lot says they should have had Ritu fight twice that night and had her on Big Bang 1 and 2. Yeah, she might as well have done. She didn't take any damage. I don't think she's taken any damage really at all in her whole run in ONE. She probably could have turned around and fought someone else. She is not on this card, Sappy-a-lot. You have to wait. I'll tell you who is on this card. Tetsuya Yamada and Kim Jae-young. That's going to be a banger, isn't it, Chris? Everyone check out JHK had an interview with Kim Jae-young. This is a lightweight fight. This is going to be huge, I think. I cannot wait to see this one.
Oh yeah, this is going to be absolutely fantastic fight. Yamada probably is just outside the rankings. Fantastic fighter. J1 Kim, I believe, is a former top FC champion, TFC champion. Solid fighter, has done big stuff out in Korea. Super powerful, has been fighting well so far. Won, but Tatsuya Yamada is probably the one I'd go for. He's fought a higher level for a much longer time. He's got bags more experience. He's got a much better ground game as well. But I think this and the next fight are going to be the two fights tonight. This will be the MMA fight of the night, and I think it's going to go really close. And I think it's going to be one of them when we're all trying to work out who wins the fight, because it's hard without a 10-9 system to really think who wins the fight, because I think it's going to be back and forward.
Sorry, I didn't say lightweight. Obviously, in one, we're talking a featherweight fight, aren't we? Yamada, if I'm correct, he's ranked 4th in the division. So, I mean, he's above Gary Tonin. I'm imagining Tonin's going to jump, though, in the next set of rankings because he beat Matsushima. So Tonin's going to sneak in right behind Christian Lee at number 3. So, yeah, if Kim Jae-young wins this, he could really push himself up to definitely, 5th, but maybe 4th in these rankings.
Yeah, the only problem with that is his last fight, it was a loss against Matsushima. And I think Matsushima just lost to Tonin, so I don't know how it all works. It's going to be a little bit of a up and down. But yeah, he has a chance to get in the rankings. But I don't actually see it going that way. I see Yamada just pulling it off.
Here are the rankings. I actually forgot to give my rankings update. The last... Terrible. In my defense, I've been on holiday for 3 weeks, so I haven't even looked at my emails. And yeah, sorry guys. Sorry, Timo, if you're watching. Timo sends out the emails asking for the updates. I trust my fellow panelists got it right though, with their ranking selections, including Mr. Tom Taylor, SCMP MMA contributor. Anyway, we will move down that card. Yes, some implications there. Always good to have some rankings implications. I think it makes the cards a little bigger, a little more exciting, especially for me. Didn't have that, with the first few events one had when they came back from their restart. But I think the events now that are playing out are starting to have some big fight feel to them, aren't they, Chris?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Anyway, yeah, you're going for Yamada. I should see if they got stats. Yeah, they got a bit better stats on the MMA fights. So, just if anyone wanted to see them, there they are. I'll show them on screen briefly. Always hard to find betting lines on one, isn't it? It's not really a thing.
Yeah, they don't really release odds on recorded shows because obviously...
Oh, it's been pre-recorded, hasn't it? I completely forgot. But even when they have the live shows, it's hard to find anything for one. Which is a shame, I'm sure there are some people out there who want to bet on it. Anyway, yeah, a little bit more kickboxing. Errol Zimmerman against Rade Opacic. I hope I pronounced that one right.
Such a good fight. I mean, Errol Zimmerman, this is a guy who has over 111 kickboxing fights. Fantastic competitor. He's fought legends and beat legends like Sammy Schelt. He's beaten Rico Verhoeven. He won the Glory Heavyweight World Championship by beating Anderson Silva. Not that Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva, the kickboxer, the heavyweight. And Opacic. How do you pronounce this? Do you know?
I said Opacic, but I'm sure I'm going to get called a dork again by that guy. So sorry.
Rade Opacic himself is also a beast, and you look at the size of him and everything he can do. But if I remember looking back into it, I think he's 21, 22 years of age. He's 5-1. He fought Roman Curricular, who I believe is now the light heavyweight kickboxing champion, and won. And he lost that by a very close decision a few years ago. This should be an absolute war. We've got it is. I mean, it's not quite crossroads because he's only just joining One Arrow Zimmerman, but he is a little bit at a crossroads. He's 34, fighting a 21, 22-year-old. We return to the theme of the evening, and it really can go absolutely either way. And he has been in a Showtime champion. He has been a Glory champion, and I think it is a great signing for ONE Championship to get a high level heavyweight kickboxer. And I think with that resume, fighting the Semi Schultz, the Rico Verhovens, the Anderson Silvers, the who's who of heavyweight kickboxing, I would just have to favor Errol Zimmerman.
Okay, yeah, not many stats available again. Aguilan Tani, the alligator out of Malaysia, he's back against the American Tyler McGuire. This should be a fun welterweight bout, Chris. I think both guys former title challenges, I think, in one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot to prove here for both men. Aguilan has been up and down, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, see that in his record there.
Been up and down. As what I love ONE Championship, but as one criticism to Aguilan, he has been slightly mismanaged his whole career. And I know they've used him to break into the Malaysian market, but they have, considering he's 25, he's fought a lot, and they have really pushed him early on against his career that against people he probably wasn't ready, like Ben Askren, like Kadestam, like Abasov, like Yushin Okami. You know, fighting Ben Askren for the title in only his 6th professional ever fight was absolutely crazy, and exposed him with having no wrestling. Tyler McGuire has wrestled his whole life. He's got great striking. He's the bigger guy, stronger guy. If it goes to the ground, I think Tyler McGuire is going to win. I think he's the bigger hitter, and I think we see Aguilan pick up another L to his name, and I think Tyler McGuire is going to win this. I think strikes either leading to a ground and pound or advancing to a submission, but I see it being really one-sided, probably second round finish.
I was going to say, any rankings implications? They don't have welterweight rankings in ONE.
No,
nor middleweight, nor light heavyweight, nor heavyweight. Just playing devil's advocate, Chris. If you could do a welterweight top 5, which kind of names are you going to have in the mix there?
Oh, wow.
We can both help. Let's both think about this. It's a tough division, isn't it? Because you've got, I think Nakashima obviously would still be number 1 behind champion Cameron Abasov.
Yep.
Kadestam will be floating about there. You're going to have...
Yeah, Kadestam would have to be there. Does Shinya Aoki have a plan on going back to weight, or is he just under?
No idea. No one knows what the hell was going on with Shinya Aoki ever. So who knows?
You'd probably have to have Kadestam, Abasov. Maybe Tyler McGuire. I mean, he does only have that one loss, and he has ran through almost everyone else, but he just has had time off.
I guess you can put Cosmo in there.
It does show you how they are really in need of a few more people in these other weight classes, and they kind of are in need of giving a ranking or two to 1 or 2 more weight divisions, I think.
Yeah. That's definitely one division they need to beef up a little bit. But anyway, got another fight on this card. Let's have a quick look at that. Ali Mutamed, who followed us recently on SCMP MMA Instagram. What's up, sir? And he's fighting Chen Rui. So this should be another really great fight, Chris. I'm actually looking forward to this one. This whole card is really fun. Bantamweight, I believe. So any insight? Who you going for?
Well, Ali Mutamed, a bit of a legend. Tiger Muay Thai guy again. Gotta love that. Just always bringing the quality. I've seen his social media is absolutely brilliant. Have you seen him training in his house with the ring with the Iranian flag hitting pads? Is fantastic. Seems like a good guy. the thing is, this guy, Rui Chen, he's had an odd career because he fought in ONE Championship about 4 years ago. I think one of the special China shows where they were doing like the Chinese Grand Prix, and he won one of them, won his 2 fights, and then he went back to fighting in Chinese organizations and came over again a year ago, fought Roman Alvarez, lost to Troy Werven, and who I don't think Troy Werven's fought since then, and then beat Mohamed Daiman. A lot of these Chinese guys, they're really high level. They have great sanda that they've been learning for years. They have pretty good wrestling. Some of the camps out there in China are absolutely huge. 60 people they can have in some of them, all professionals, because the country's so big. They can have regional organizations that maybe only operate in 1 or 2 provinces, but they can get really big crowds and big fan groups just because of the large population size. So I'm going to go with the Ghost in this fight to win, and to win by knockout. Early head kick. Sanda head kick.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good. I think that's the whole card.
Yeah.
So we'll close up that.
Yeah, it's a really good card, really underrated. It is a bit more quality-wise towards the kickboxing and Muay Thai and the Super Series this time. They are 3 top fights in those disciplines. And the MMA has got 2 well-even matches to start us up. But I think the 3rd fight of the card, 4th fight of the card, sorry, with Yamada and Jae-Won Kim, I think that will be a cracker of an MMA fight. And yeah, the whole card I think will be really good and really competitive, and it can go either way.
Now I am hearing that there are some changes afoot for next week's card. Things moving around after some positive tests.
For Collision Course.
Collision Course, December 18th, my birthday. Please, everyone, we'd love to have you along for the fight companion. Hopefully we'll be having the fights on there, but we'll be doing something, I think, anyway. What better time to do it than turning 33 to watch Collision Course with everyone and talk about the fights. This is the card as it stands, Chris.
Yeah.
That's another good card as well, isn't it? I'm going to look, see if there have been any updates on that card made on this official drive that I have access to. I cannot see anything official yet, but fingers crossed. You don't want to see anything drop out, but they might be adding 1 or 2 fights. It looks like that had to be scrapped last time. I think that's the best case scenario, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just hearing this from...
Which ones are you hearing are being pulled? Because with this card, obviously the main event is an absolute banger. I hope those guys can make it over. But I really want to see Lowen Tananas, and want to see the return of Troy Werven as well. 2 of my favorite fighters. American fighters.
I got an update, yeah.
Come up through one. Which would be good to see them fight.
I can say that we do have... I'm sharing that. I got an updated card here. So it looks like the Cricklier fight has been added back, the one that dropped out against Andrei Stoica.
Oh, wow.
So that's good.
Oh, wow.
I was looking forward to that fight. Looks like it's the new main event on the Collision Course card. Anything else new there? I'm not sure. We might be getting something else added.
Oh, wow. So Troy Werven's still on there. Lowen Tananas is still there.
Thank you, Tristan. Happy early birthday. Come and watch the show with us next Friday.
Oh, we lost the fight with the Brazilian, didn't we? Between the 2 there.
Did we?
Yeah, that's the fight we lost there. We lost the fight with the Brazilian.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's still not a bad card. I mean, Tatsumitsu Wada, I think he's still ranked. Troy Werven's an absolute beast. Lowen Tananas, probably one of ONE's biggest up-and-coming prospects, if you can call him up-and-coming. Absolute beast, great fighter, suffered injury problems. But, if he wins this, we're going to expect big, big things, and he could be fighting for a title anytime soon.
So Edson Marquez and Raymond Magomedaliev has dropped out from this card.
Yeah.
Looks like. Yeah, it's the nature of the game, isn't it? It's fights are being cancelled, fights are being added at short notice. Kind of adds an element of excitement, doesn't it, in a weird way?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Because Sadulev is ranked 4th, Troy Werver is ranked 5th. I think Wilder has a ranking in flyweight. No, he does not anymore. But yeah, so we have 2 title fights now, 2 fights with ranked opponents. Return Tatsumi to Wilder, and then I don't know much about that first fight. Shea Wei and Chan Rafana.
This is interesting from Tantravert Goose saying Lowen Tainanas has showed up on the lightweight rankings. Let me get that on screen. That is strange. So it looks like Peter Baust has dropped out. And Daggy is now above Yuri.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a change. And yeah, Tainanas is a new entry there, isn't he?
Yeah.
But Shinya has also gone up 1 place without fighting.
There we go.
Some strange happenings in the lightweight rankings there. I would have put a stop to this if I had voted the last time. See, Chris, this is why I wouldn't have let that happen.
Yeah.
And I'd be putting Eddie Alvarez in there somewhere.
Yeah, I think so. Could have Eddie Alvarez versus Lowen Tainanas soon. You never know.
Well, DJ's fighting Adriano Moraes February 24th, I think. And they seem to love pairing Eddie and DJ together, so I think Eddie's going to be on that card, maybe against Daggy.
Might see Vito on that card.
Yeah. So Tainanas, that's kind of strange, isn't it? I'm in there. I'm just trying to figure this out. Because the guy's not fought for...
No, he has big injury problems.
Nearly 2 years. He's not fought. He is very, very good. 10-0. But this is, like he was saying, ONE's just gonna, I think John was saying that they're gonna make their own rankings. So I said, no, I cannot imagine anyone would be putting Lowen Tainanas in there. Must be because he's fighting against Marat Gafarov, isn't he? Next week.
Maybe it's a sign he already won, guys.
They haven't recorded that one yet. That's going to be live. Yeah, big collision course is live.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure.
Maybe they were removing Peter Boyce from the rankings and they thought, let's just throw Lowen in the rankings so we have a number next to him so he can sell the fight and be like, look, we've got 2 title fights and 2 ranked guys on a 6-fight card.
Yeah, but that's a bit shifty. I don't like that. Damn it! I need to get on the phone to Timo Rouge at ONE Championship. I'll ask him what happened there. Try and find out. Maybe we could shed some light on it. Anyway, anyone else have any questions? Please ask, or any comments? Please get involved. Otherwise, not much news around, is there, Chris? That was a media day.
Anthony Rumble Johnson signed with Bellator, which I think is a big coup for them at age 35, 36. I think he'll be right up there. I fancy him against Machida. I fancy him against most of the other people in that division, actually. I think the Nemkov fight would be a hard one, but I think he really has an opportunity.
Scott Coker was talking about it. This is MMA Junkie. Oh my God, what happened there? All right, I'm very excited to have him on board. Here's this guy that will always bring it. I've never seen him in a boring fight. It's been, 2 or 3 years since he's fought. I think we're going to get a brand new AJ, but his fighting style is something I've always respected and really enjoyed watching. See, this is weird because he's saying, we've signed Rumble Johnson, who, is one of the veterans, and then Coker explains why Bellator passed on Romero, also MMA Junkie. And he says in this interview, we're going in a different direction now. We're trying to sign the younger prospects and develop them. So it's completely kind of, oh God, it's like juxtaposed, isn't it? He's saying we're great, we're really happy to have Rumble, but we didn't want Romero.
Rumble's 36 and we'll move up to heavyweight. Romero's 43 middleweight and refuses to move up to light heavyweight despite always missing weight anyway. I mean, 7 years is a long time in this game. I mean, obviously Yo was in the game a bit later, but I can see it from both sides because the thing is, if you said Rumble could fight the next 6 years and fight 15 fights, and he'd still be younger than what Yoel is now. That's one way to look at it because, I know Yoel looks fantastic, but do you see him fighting 15 times in the next 6 years at age 42, 43?
I think we talked about it the other day. PFL might be a good fit for him.
Yeah.
Go make $1 million. Anyway,
championship would be a great fit for Yoel.
Yeah, we'll see where he lands. But looks like the Kawas are starting to shop him around. We got a call from his agent, Coker said. So Yoel is definitely not done in any shape or form. Sepialot asking, do you think the next few years we'll see the smaller promotions start catching up to the UFC? I think the UFC is a bit too cheap for their own good. Yes, I think Sepialot made a comment in the live chat earlier as well on John's show. Wanted to ask us about what was it, Sepialot, you asked? Do you think like the contender series is a way the UFC is kind of diluting its product per se by bringing in cheaper fighters, getting rid of the bigger names because they cost more? I think that all plays into this question too. Why don't we start with this one? Yeah. Do you think ONE, PFL, Bellator are gonna maybe take a few steps forward now with the UFC casting off some of these names?
Well, won't. They're all bringing through their own talent, which is always good, and they all will bring through their own talent. It's probably a little bit harder for Bellator and PFL compared to ONE because ONE has a monopoly on Asia in a way, particularly in countries like Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore. Probably an easier gateway as well for Koreans and Japanese as well. The UFC probably does have the jump in China now with the Performance Institute. When it comes to the signing of already existing talent, we're starting to see that the people who are moving between organizations are much younger than they used to be. When you look at when Bellator first started signing old UFC fighters, they were really old. But then you look at people like relatively younger, like a Ben Askren, Demetrius Johnson, Eddie Alvarez, Sage Northcutt, Michael Chandler, all these people changing organizations. So I think if they are being cheap, we will see other organizations get talent. I don't think it will weaken the UFC too much. But where heavyweight division right now, if you look at the top 15, say in the world, 13 of them probably are in the UFC in most weight divisions. We could see that number drop to, you never know, 8 or 10, because you could see if another organization particularly targets another weight class, they could get, rather than signing a top guy or a guy who used to be at the top from an organization, you're probably better to sign 3 or 4 guys who are 28, approaching their prime, maybe in their prime, and get 3 or 4 of them and really strengthen your division. And I think that's what we're going to start to see them doing.
Rocker Cat asking, did you two decide to match today, or was this on accident? Yeah, we just it just
Post-fight.
happened. Just happened. Chris always wears the shirt, and I decided to start wearing it again because I found a large. I haven't been able to fit into my size medium for a while, but I found a large when I was clearing out my cupboard the other day. So I'm back in it. I can get into it. But yeah, we were saying anyone wants a shirt, just hit us up. We'll send you out a shirt. I've got a lot of shirts here. Want to make some space, get rid of them. I was originally going to take them to some shows to get some fighters to wear them, but not sure when I'll ever be back at an MMA show. So it could be another year. And who knows? Maybe we'll design a new T-shirt for when we're back live at these shows. Tristan asking early prediction for Adriano Moraes against DJ. Chris.
This is so hard. I mean, I have to go with DJ. He is probably the better fighter, more well-rounded. He's capable of absolutely everything. Adriano Moraes is a little bit bigger. He's been around a lot in Brazil, over in Asia. He is a fantastic fighter. I would not sleep on him. It's going to be a lot closer than UFC fans think. But I do have to go with DJ. I think he's too well-rounded. Yeah, that would be my early prediction. Can't wait to see them on the scales together. They've stopped doing weigh-ins and hydration tests on YouTube at the moment with the COVID, haven't they, at one? But it would be quite interesting to see the size difference on the scales beforehand, because if you do remember, a lot of those people in the Grand Prix were much bigger than DJ.
Yeah, every guy he fights in one is bigger than him, and Moraes is going to be the biggest yet. Yeah, we're gonna have Adriano and DJ on the show. We're gonna do a live show next Wednesday, SCMP ONE live. Not at the same time. DJ didn't want to do a face-off with Adriano. Can respect that. Some fighters don't like talking trash or whatever. Not that you have to talk trash. Just would be nice to have both of them at the same time. DJ didn't want to do it, so we'll have him separately. Fair play, sir. I'd love to speak to the GOAT.
DJ on Ariel Helwani last night.
I didn't,
Yeah, he gave a pretty good interview, just talking about how he would never see himself going back down to 125. In one, he likes it because he walks around at around 141, 142, he said. So he had to cut down to 125, where now he just exercises down to about 138, 139, and then cuts the rest off in the allowed water allowance to get to 135 past the hydration test.
Yeah, Demetrius Johnson is living his best life, I think you can say. He seems so much happier every time people interview him. Then, oh, do you miss the UFC? Do you ever want to go back? He's like, no, I'm so happy here. I get to walk around. I get to fight at like my normal weight. I don't cut any weight. He's had a nice year off, I think. He fought 3 times in 2019 with ONE. It was a pretty grueling year for him. He was almost always in camp, and then especially that turnaround from Manila to Tokyo was very quick. And yeah, he's had a nice year to chill out, hang out with his kids. I think he's going to be refreshed. For me, I'm worried, has Adriano had too long of a layoff? It's been 2 years really now. That's the key. It should be a good fight. I kind of have a weird feeling Moraes might get a decision. I don't know. There's some inkling in my head. Never want to pick against the GOAT, but yeah, the size difference thing is just maybe DJ's going to realize this division might be too big, and maybe he may have to go down. Who knows? We'll see. Do you guys ship shirts to Canada? Sepula asking. Yeah, send you one. Anyone who wants a shirt, just DM me or DM the SCMP MMA on Instagram. We'll start sending some out. Tristan agrees with you, Chris. It's going to be close. Nick, if it's a decision, I bet it'll be split. Yeah, it will be a tough one. I don't know. You can never go against DJ though. I feel dirty. I feel bad for even thinking he may lose. I don't think DJ can make 125 hydrated though. Yeah, that's the issue. I mean, there's so many good fights for him if he goes down there. I just feel this division's slightly too tall for him. Not too big. Just like the guys are physically taller, and he said it, in that fight with Tatsumitsu Wada, I think, the second one he had in one. He tried to throw him up and, get the flying armbar, but he was just too physically tall. He couldn't do it. So we'll see. Can DJ impose his will on Adriano Moraes? I'm really excited for this fight. I'm glad they finally made it. I hope it doesn't fall out. Sepula asking, how high do you think the talent ceiling is on Jihin Radwan? She looked great against B, but B has not been a great contender of late. Yeah, Chris, do you think we're going to see the Shadow Cat in the Atomweight Grand Prix whenever the hell they finally announce this thing?
Yeah, I do think so. I think that was kind of like a last chance for B to try and get into the Grand Prix. I mean, if you do look at Shadowcat, she has wins over Jenny Huang. She lost to Denise Zambonga. Zambonga's going to be in the Grand Prix for sure. I've heard Jenny Huang being in it. I think Jihin, she's good. She's probably just there or just outside making that Grand Prix, I think. I mean, if I look very quickly at the women's rankings, there's Denise Zambonga, Membo, Lin Hechin, Mei Yamaguchi, Stamp Fairtex. So that gives us some idea who's going to be in it. I don't know if Stamp's going to be in it, but I could see Jihin in it.
Yeah, I think we could see that. Rocker Cat says B had a super great amateur run. I wonder why it hasn't translated well to pro. Yeah, B Nguyen, what do you think? Do you think her future in ONE? What is it going to be more in Muay Thai, kickboxing?
No, I think it's going to be in MMA. I think it's going to be in spectacle fights. I think she's better at MMA than she's at the other two. More well-rounded. She might have done better in an amateur run, being on TV previously in her career, being fairly successful in that. She might have already been able to be professional fighting amateurs in a sense that she could take more time out to trade and learn the skills, but maybe she does not quite have that athleticism. She did not show much against Shadowcat, and with her, I like B. She seems bubbly. She seems nice, but she does have a level, I think. I don't think we're going to ever see her break into that top 5, but she has the opportunity to definitely be a gatekeeper of sorts.
You floated the idea of minimum weight, didn't you?
100%. She was much smaller than Jihin B.
Yeah. Do you think she could be a player if they introduced a new division there?
Yeah, minimum weight or junior weight, whatever you want to call it. I think it makes sense because what I always say is, if it's your best division, which is the atomweight division, is their best women's division. It's one of their best divisions actually in all the MMA. You should have one below your best division. It always makes sense. It's like the UFC, their best women's division over the last 4 years has been women's strawweight. They should have an atomweight because, your best division, you should have divisions either side of it. That's kind of how the UFC went from having the 3 big divisions and going down, because the lower ones always had the best talent.
What's the actual weight on that? 95 pounds? Tristan asking.
Would it be 105 then? Flyweight be 95, I think.
Anyway, we can only deal in what is actually in front of us, and yes, a bit of chat in the comments here about the GP, the Atomweight Grand Prix. No closer are we, Chris, to finding out the brackets. Rocket Cat pointing out a couple of weeks. Chatri told me, I think 2 months ago that or a month, 5, 6 weeks. When was Inside the Matrix? End of October. Yeah, we're still waiting. I don't know. I don't think they're waiting on Angela Lee. I think they're waiting on Ham Johi, because there seems to be some kind of legal wrangle here. Who owns her contract? Ryzen and Road. Ryzen playing some games, weren't they? Coming out and announcing it. I think ONE Championship UK talking about Stamp Fairtex probably going to be in the Grand Prix. They want to push her to become the 3-sport champ, but she has lost 2 of her belts. Obviously, yes, the Muay Thai and kickboxing belts. Stamp told me she wants to focus on MMA now. So we're going to see Stamp's going all in on MMA. I think that's good for her. I don't think it's good to be splitting up her focus. Her body must kind of be a little bit confused, I think, fighting 3 different sports so close to each other. It'd be good for her to pick one and stick with it for now. ONE Championship UK. Sepalot saying Stamp's not faced a real grappler yet. Let's see how Stamp fares. Chris, what do you think of Stamp's chances?
Stamp, she's a fantastic athlete. I think she needs to keep working on her base skills, work on her ground game. Obviously the Grand Prix is far too close for her. That would be ill-advised. I think she's probably a year away from fighting someone of that level. I actually think maybe Collision Course does say something about the Grand Prix, but I think if anyone wants a time frame, I'd assume they'd want it announced before the DJ Marias fight. I believe.
Okay. Well,
it would be very good if they could sign an American strawweight with a bit of a name to come down to atomweight to fight in the Grand Prix. I think that would be quite a big move, but I don't know who's available.
Something's going on, isn't there? We're going to find out eventually, I hope. ONE Championship back this weekend, Friday, with the Big Bang 2. We're going to have some form of a fight companion. Even if we're not able to stream the fights, I think some of us will be here just talking about the fights. So we invite everyone to come and watch as usual. Fingers crossed, maybe we can get the stream going. Other than that, we'll see you for that tomorrow. 8 o'clock we'll be here. Other than that, UFC on Sunday we'll be doing a recap, UFC 256. And then next week we've got Media Day for ONE Championship Collision Course, Monday and Tuesday. I'll be back in action finally. I've had 3 weeks off. Had my unpaid leave is out of the way, ready and refreshed to go. Going to throw myself back in. We'll have the Media Day for that show, and then we're going to have SCMP ONE Live on Wednesday. We're going to have Adriano Moraes. We're going to have Demetrius Johnson. We're going to have, get this, we're going to have Gary Tonin and Tan Lee, it looks like, at the same time. A little face-off action. Going to talk about maybe making that fight for the featherweight title in ONE Championship. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I think that about wraps it up. Chris, do you want to get lunch? Because I am hungry.
Oh, I am hungry, actually. I'll have to get back.
You on the spot there.
Definitely, yeah.
Where do you want to go?
I don't know. Have to sort it afterwards.
We'll go have a little lunch or something.
Thank you very much
for watching. Appreciate all the comments as usual, and all of the interaction from all of the OG fans. As I said, anyone wants a t-shirt, hit me up. We'll send you out one. Thanks again so much for watching. We will see you again hopefully tomorrow. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.